Hello and welcome to No CB, a grand strategy podcast for the 25th of November 2020. And I am Liana. I am your host. We are here day before Thanksgiving in the U.S. with our panel that we're all very thankful for, including Rose.
Hey there.
Including Lambert.
Thank you for the introduction.
Well, I should say I'm thankful for everybody except Lambert.
Ah, damn it. Hello there.
And including Father Lorris.
Sup? Hello.
I feel aggrieved.
Yeah. And we've got several courses of grand strategy news for you today. Starting off, we don't have a new culture revealed for humankind because they have said that they're going to hold off on announcing the cultures for the contemporary era. But if you tuned in last week, you'll know that we are going to have a little bit of a competition where we're going to try to guess what those 10 cultures for the contemporary era are. We didn't discuss this amongst ourselves. So does anybody want to start and give your guesses?
I think you should start. Could you introduce yourself first?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so this is the contemporary era. So this seems to be like World War II up through like the modern day is kind of the era that we're looking at. There are 5 that I think are pretty much a sure bet. Like 5 that I would be shocked if any of these were not included. I'd be willing to put, money on these. And that's going to be the Americans, the People's Republic of China / Chinese / whatever they want to call it, the Soviets, the Brazilians, and the Indians. I am almost certain that we will see those 5. China, modern China, they've already confirmed is going to be in there. But those other 4, I would say, are extremely safe bets. And then the other 5 that I wasn't as sure about, I went with Australians, because that's the one continent we have not had a single culture from so far. So that just seems to make sense. Ethiopians for the because we need, they seem to have at least one Africa, one Asia, one, whatever, every era. I have modern Japan on there. And then the last 2 were hard. Like I went back and forth. So I went a little bit weird with it, but I think it's going to be the Canadians and the Arabians. We need some sort of like representation of the Gulf states, because that whole region and like all the oil conflict and stuff has been a major part of the era we currently live in. So that's my 10 right there.
I have most of your picks. There's some notable exceptions. I didn't think of India. So I don't have India on there, and I don't have Australia.
Okay.
So
all the rest of what did you have instead?
Okay, so I've got USA, but I can see them calling it Americans instead. I can see that happening. I've got the EU, as I still think, like, if you're going to put a European culture in there, which you kind of can't really get away from, it's either going to be EU, or if they're doing it like Americans, Europe or Europeans. That could be that could be it. I've put Russia / USSR / Soviets. I don't know which era they're gonna specifically go for, so I just put both of them down there, and I don't know what they're gonna call it.
I don't think they'd call it Russia because they just called it Russia for the previous era.
Yeah, they had Russians for the Imperial Russia. That's what I think it'll still count, like whether they call it like USA or Americans. I think that's still worth the point. But
I've got the Chinese, People's Republic of China. I've got Brazil.
There you go.
For the token African culture, god damn it, it kind of seems to be that kind of way that they're whatever. I've got South Africa. Ethiopia was another good pick. I kind of went back and forth between the 2 of them. But I settled on South Africa as a bit more internationally relevant, perhaps. Ethiopia sort of seemed like a bit of a insular, isolated kind of thing.
I don't have South Africa on my list, but I did consider it for sort of the reasons you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I also
the reason I
tossed it out because apartheid. And
Right, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's ultimately why I went with Ethiopia, because South Africa it's largely a white colonizer state, or at least it was historically in terms of who held power there, and I figured they would be more likely to go with, an African state that was actually founded and run by Africans.
Yes.
So yeah.
Also, if you've got the Zulu and then you're going into South Africa, that does seem a bit weird. So
Possibly, yeah.
I feel like you
yeah.
probably are right. I wasn't that's not my like strongest pick. I was very conflicted on that one. Then for the final ones, I've got Iran. I think it'd be very strange to not have Iran too. There. I've got Turkey. I've got Arabia, and I've got Israel.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still don't know if a grand strategy game would
do
include
Israel
modern
without
Israel,
doing Palestine as well.
Yeah, it would just be so controversial. I don't know if there'd be a good way to depict it, but yeah. Okay.
I can see if these aren't the ones, I can see them all being a DLC at some points.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of a weird world how the existence of a state that does exist is controversial, isn't it? It's kind of weird.
I mean,
very true.
Yeah.
Look at Taiwan.
Yeah, that's very true.
I think it's only controversial if you're living in certain areas. I think most of the world is fairly fine with it exists as a concept.
Yeah.
It's just a matter
reality,
of
really, isn't it?
Depicting modern states in a gameplay sense is going to be tricky, which is almost why I thought of this, I think, more from a World War II angle than I did a modern day angle, which is part of why I didn't end up putting the EU on there. But yeah,
I think if I could go back and change it without cheating, I'd probably change EU to Europe.
Yeah, I mean, I think either way you get the point for that. You knew what they were going for.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, perhaps instead of specific cultures for the modern day, they just do regions.
Yeah. I've thought about that too, that it might just not be, they might not even be based on nationalistic concepts. That would be kind of an interesting thing, but
would be nice.
Yeah. Rose, what did you come up with?
Oh, right. So I have mine in alphabetical order since that's how they did it. There's quite a bit of overlap here. There's Brazil, which I think we've all... Lambert, you had Brazil in yours as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I had Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil. China. And then I went for Cuba.
Interesting.
Since it is a whole different sort of culture group there in the Caribbean. And Cuba being...
I would definitely play that. I would play that culture. I think I don't know how likely it is that they'd include it, but I would love if that was in there, yeah.
And since it's culture-specific music. I want to get some tropical music in my heart.
There you go.
Both culturally and politically, it's been pretty
isolated.
Big. Isolated, but also pretty well known around the world and sort of recognized. Next, I have India, which I know Leanna had as well. And then for Europe, I kind of thought about your EU. I was thinking, because I don't think they would do Britain. I ended up going with Italy. Just because it was such a major player during World War II. But we've already had Germany in the previous era. And, Italy, up until fairly recently, wasn't really a nation. It was a bunch of city-states.
Yeah.
Then Japan.
It was a concept, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a concept. It was an idea. But people were more like...
Same as Germany, really. Germany isn't, in the grand scheme of things, Germany ain't that old.
Nope, it's not.
True. Yeah.
Next up, I did Japan. That just seems like it has to be. And then here's the difference. I did Singapore.
Oh,
that's interesting.
That's an interesting one, yeah.
Since it's such a, economically and then culturally for Asia, it's such a big thing for being such a small little nation, and it sprang up or in the modern era. It was like a swampy little island. And then
trade post of the British.
Mm-hmm. And then
it's very very similar to Hong Kong, apart from it didn't.
Oh, it tried to
lease.
True, and it did try to become part of Vietnam again, I believe, and then Vietnamese kicked it out.
For Singapore, wrong place.
I think it was Singapore.
Yeah.
I think
Malaysia. You think of
Malaysia.
Yeah, Malaysia.
Yeah, it was Malaysia.
Not Vietnam.
Yeah. Mhm.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
They kicked it back out.
Yep.
Malay could be a pick. And then I did.
That was on my dark horse list. Yeah. Yeah.
And then sort of thinking of Arabian, I did the UAE with Dubai and stuff.
Yeah. I was trying to think if they would pick a specific country, but I think it's more likely that they'll just call them Arabians or Arabs and have them kind of represent the entire region.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Arabian League. That was a thing.
Yeah, if they were going to base it on a specific country, I think the UAE or maybe Egypt would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they did, if they were going to do something like that, then the Arab League would work because that encompassed most of the countries there and still included Egypt, which isn't an Arab country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there are Egyptian Arabs, but they're distinct in some ways. Yeah.
And then the last two, of course, USA and USSR, because just can't really see the last 80 years without them.
Yeah.
Yep. Lorris, did you have some guesses?
Well, I did the trailer like a good while ago. I already know what the things are.
That's what I suspected, so I wasn't sure if you would.
But I can reveal. I've got an exclusive, I guess, to a podcast, and I can reveal what the actual things are. So give me a second.
Oh, you've got permission. That's awesome.
Yeah. 1 second.
You heard it here first, folks.
So what we have is here we are. It is just 10 times Trinidad and Tobago, actually. Over and over again.
I suspected that was gonna be a bit, but
I didn't. I thought it was on the level.
I was like, there's no way that they would just reveal all 10 on the podcast.
So
all right,
I'm afraid all of
there
you are
go.
wrong, I'm afraid. So
all three of us get 0 points. It's a tie. No, so the other ideas I had that didn't make the top 10, I had the United Kingdom, modern Germany is in some way, I don't know what they would call it because they've already used Germans, but it feels like there's they could do another Germany. I did have Europeans on my dark horse list, Indonesians, Malaysians, Argentines. I also had Turks, South Africans, Swedes, modern Korea, and modern Egypt were the other ones I was kind of considering. So more specifically South Korea, probably. But,
Well, yes. When you say modern Korea right now, you don't really think of North Korea, though for a couple decades, they were ahead of South Korea in terms of everything. And then they stagnated.
Yeah, that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got our guesses locked in, and we'll see who gets the most right. It sounds like our lists are somewhat similar, but
Just looking at chat. Lambert is completely blanking on 1/6 of the world's population. Yeah, so, I'll own that.
Those Americans, Chinese, Soviets, Brazilians, and Indians are I think a lock in. I would be very shocked if any of those were not on there. But
my lock-ins, I guess, would be the top 5 that I got, which is USA, EU, Russia, China, Brazil. Those are my lock-ins.
Yeah, I actually didn't have any Europeans on my top 10,
which I think
is probably
very
wrong.
Unlikely. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But again, I struggled also
just for
with
that.
Europe.
I think you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how many points each of us get.
If I had to drop one, I'd probably drop Canadians and maybe put in Europeans. But
Wait, did you have Americans and Canadians?
I had.
She did.
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah. So.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
I mean,
so
alternatively, they might just break it up into regions instead of cultures. So you would have Europe, you would have North America, you would have South America, you'd have maybe
Except
Northern
Lambert.
Africa.
DLC.
Fair point. I take it back.
Yeah.
It's going to be like 1984 style. It's just going to be, East Asia and
Oh yeah. There's only three. There are only three.
yeah.
So.
Each DLC will cut each piece of the pie again, just one more time. DLC is like a knife through a map.
Perhaps a map of the ancient Near East. Because we have an Imperator Dev diary to talk about.
That's where you're going. Okay.
Wow.
No.
I was like, wait, Lambert's the Roman history guy. He's gotta know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, blanked.
Yeah, so we got another look at the Marius update and they announced the Heirs of Alexander content pack. They'll be releasing along with it, which includes things like new missions for the Diadochi states. I just want more barbarian content. So Lambert, why don't you go ahead and walk us through this?
I mean, barbarian content is all well and good, but I think it needs to be, the focus of a DLC and an update rather than being tacked on alongside something. There was a good post on the forums about a week ago. Someone was asking for a Hearts of Iron style, like splitting up days into parts. So you'd have a day and a night. They were also asking for a night cycle, which was completely shot down, thankfully. But having more than one tick per day, which was Arheo said in that thread that he likes the idea, but it's never going to be something that is just tacked alongside a bigger update. It would be something that would be the focus of an update. Like it would be the main feature. Yeah. Because it is a huge rework that would change everything. And I think that's kind of the same way that I would think about barbarians. Like if you're going to update barbarians, update the barbarians. Don't just
Tack
do it a little bit on the side. Yeah, exactly.
You have like a sort of old god style expansion from there.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's what I'm wwaiting for.
As
for this
opposed to the
update-
new Roman gods.
No, we just need another Roman expansion. I don't know what you're talking about. It's great. As for this one, though, we learned that, Heirs of Alexander is going to be the next DLC, which has mission trees for all of the Diadochi, which is nice. It also said that the Legion honors that we learned about last week are going to be a DLC feature rather than in the update itself, which I would be completely fine with. Like having things be a part of DLCs is necessary so that the DLCs are worth buying. The only thing I'm a bit iffy about it with is it was announced last week when not talking about DLC content, and then to put it in this DLC after you've already announced it is just a little bit iffy. Feels like a kind of a last minute, let's put it in the DLC. You just need more stuff in there. I don't know. Felt a bit iffy.
I don't know. I have no idea if that was like planned ahead of time or not, but look, you can buy RimWorld for 10% off. No, it's fine. Yeah, so they also are, as Rose is showing on the screen, if you're watching live, they're splitting up levies and legions are going to use different unit models. Some of which they have admitted are made up, like the The Arabian Group light infantry model just looks like a guy in a bathrobe with a metal helmet, which, like, I'm glad he's protecting his head. Might have been nice to protect some other things too.
I mean,
but,
if you're going into battle and if you are limited to a single piece of armor, you're not allowed to have anything but one piece of armor. Yeah, you're going to protect your noggin. You need a helmet. That is the most important piece. So, like, bathrobe man, he's completely right to take the helmet.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean,
But yeah, having the rest of the armor would be nice too.
He gets a helmet and he gets a shield. He just covers whichever part of his body he considers the most important after the head.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's true, because you can't, like, the one thing you can't really cover very well with a shield and still fight is your head. So okay, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, slap a shield into your face. Done.
Yeah.
They didn't have the little shin guards or anything. You'd think they'd at least have like leather they would tie around their shins.
Yeah, it's something like that.
I can, however, see some historical inaccuracies in the Roman one, because it was quite recently, I think like only a couple of years ago, discovered that they dug up an example of Roman socks. So the Romans, not the British, were the ones to invent socks with sandals.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. So these guys having no socks
tacky,
on was...
that's good take.
Fuck's sake, you.
Well, maybe they only wore socks in certain climates. I mean, if they're chilling somewhere warm, they don't need them.
Oh, no, you would absolutely need them. If you are marching with those leather straps on your feet, you don't have an effective fighting force because they can't stand.
Exactly. Why is everyone against socks with sandals? Like, you get blisters with sandals. Put your socks on.
Why do you have shoes on?
Well,
because they've got sandals. Though, because it's hot and shoes sweaty.
Oh, that's true. Well,
socks are made of wool usually. Like, they're still.
I just wear leather.
I think these socks. Hang on, let me
sandals.
see if I can find a picture of it.
Oh, my socks are cotton.
Rubber socks. That's right.
Well, I mean, back in the day,
the thing about these Roman socks is as well, they were toed, so it went like they were split in half. It was. I mean, personally, I don't think it looked very comfortable, but yeah, they're. If you want to put this up on stream.
I'm finding it.
Roman socks.
Yeah. Those look really comfy. I like them.
I don't know. That looks kind of awful to me.
Romans only had two.
It has been underground for a long time, so.
Romans actually only had two toes, actually.
Yeah. No, this is accurate.
Yeah, that looks like
that's a recreation. I would really recommend you put the actual one, but sure.
That's the actual one?
Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one they actually dug up, I think.
I mean, there's not much difference between that and the recreation, but
I mean,
sure. Besides the holes,
accuracy.
They look about the same to me. I don't know.
If I was having to march, 45 mile a day, I'd want some socks, and it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Here you go. Here's another modern recreation.
Oh God.
Hey, stuff in the ancient Mediterranean was usually pretty colorful.
Yeah,
they liked
their
bright colors.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So, I guess someone tried to knit some.
I just don't understand. So, like, does your big toe go in one side and the rest of your foot stretches out?
I think it's 2 and then the rest.
Yeah.
So 2 and 3?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it gives you more grip. I don't know.
Well, it's
weird. Do you think of like flip-flop sandals, not these sandals, flip-flop ones with your toes? Like, you have your big toe on one side and all your other toes on the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, but I would have thought that was just to keep the thing on your foot, whereas like a sock is like form fitted, so I don't know why you would need to do that. But
oh yeah, there's a picture with the socks.
Those just that one on the right just looks like athletic socks.
Yeah.
He just went down to Payless Shoes and picked up
Romans exclusively wore thigh-high socks, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
With garter belts too, right?
Garter belts, of course.
Hey.
He's cosplaying as a schoolgirl. He's also got the skirt and everything. But that skirt's too short. It needs to go down to the knee. Otherwise you get detention.
Oh, that's so fun. Oh.
Speaking of socks,
please do continue Sockcast.
For my wedding in Korea, I wore traditional clothes, okay? Down to traditional socks, which are rather odd by what we call modern socks, because they have a seam that goes right down the middle of your foot.
Oh.
That does not sound comfortable.
It wasn't very comfortable. Here you can see someone wearing them. You can see there's the seam right down the center.
Oh, my goodness. I imagine that would get incredibly itchy, actually.
Oh.
It just wasn't very warm. I got married in January and it was freezing cold. And I had thermal underwear on underneath my hanbok, but the only part of me that was cold was my feet, because they were just these thin linen socks with like the fancy shoes.
Oh my goodness.
So that doesn't, there you go. Shoes like that. Didn't keep me very warm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
No, doesn't seem very warm.
No.
Yeah.
So.
I would imagine not.
But what is warm is Babylon, and we've also got some mission trees for...
Yeah.
I brought it back.
The thing I found most interesting about these new missions is there's a lot of stuff where you can like encourage large numbers of Hellenic pops to just relocate from like rival countries.
Yeah.
And it says that they will be compensated. I don't know how that will work, if they'll just get a bunch of money or something.
All the stuff you leave behind, the state now owns, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it would be, it'd be really hard playing as a Greek and like half your population's thinking, you know what, I want to go over to Seleucia. And maybe that's why they've done it, to be, a bit fairer to the player if you're, having your pop stolen in that way. Mm-hmm. I kind of would prefer if they just didn't. And like, oh, you've just lost a bunch of pops that have gone over there. If you want them back, you're going to have to go over there and get them back.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's but like a proper migration system between borders would be pretty cool. But I don't know.
Right.
Imperator has the best migration system of any Paradox game. With their migration weight, or migration attraction, I should say.
But there were these like larger waves of migration too that like this seems like it's trying to model. It's a decent way to do it.
Yeah.
It would be cool if there was like a dynamic way for these big waves of migration to happen instead of this tiny little trickle, but maybe that's something for the future.
I also really like the new UI for the missions, because they've lost that kind of like doorway that all of the marble dudes were in, and I think it just looks better.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, the whole UI just looks so much better.
Yeah, they've done a really good job on that.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't really mind the squiggly arrows here because they're not so squiggly, and I'm hoping that they've made them less squiggly on things like the tech tree. Because, Rome's the center of this game, but we don't need spaghetti everywhere.
Oh, jeez.
Should make it more spaghetti. Do loop-de-loops and stuff. I think the arrows do need some work, though, actually. A little jazzed up a little bit.
Yeah.
To help.
I just want my barbarian update where I can have like a Celtic UI when I'm playing as Celts, and like a Germanic looking UI when I'm playing as the Germans.
Yeah. I would like that for a lot of things in Paradox, man. I would like
how CK2 changed it. Your UI changed.
Right.
It's one thing. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who was saying that he would prefer if you're playing as Seleucids, then you have a blue backdrop. And apparently they did try it to have like the UI colored to your nation. But for quite a few nations, it looked absolutely terrible. So they didn't. I think what I wouldn't be surprised to see eventually is the UI changing based on government type, considering there is quite few of those, and you can test them all to see if they look good without having like edge cases look bad. But then I was thinking about what colors you could possibly have for them. And obviously you're thinking barbarians are probably going to be green. Green or brown, something like that. And then you have to think, republics and monarchies are the other two government types. Monarchies, I would say red or purple are shoo-ins for that. And then republics would be like a blue, like Athens is. But then I'm thinking, like the Romans, they don't really suit blue. They would need to be red.
It'd be a special case for Romans and all things, right?
Yeah, probably.
Well, I mean, because it is impaired to Rome. It's not impaired to Carthage.
I would be fine with them keeping the same basic color scheme for the UI and just changing the design.
Yeah.
Like have Celtic swirls instead of the like Roman looking pattern.
Yeah,
at the top. So, yeah.
You'd also do it by culture group. Because each culture group has a color.
Yeah.
Italics being red and Greeks being blue and Persians also being red? Or Persians being brown? I can't even remember.
I'll just go with different little bits of flair around the outside borders and things. Same with,
Well, let me... Well, I've got a little poem for you, though.
Wait.
If monarchies are red and republics are blue, let's talk about Crusader Kings 3 patch 1.2.
Oh
Nice.
my god.
Wow.
Very well done.
Yeah, there we go.
Beautiful.
See, premium content here today. So we got the 1.2 patch notes for Crusader Kings 3. It adds the ruler designer, it adds the kill list, bunch of stuff we've already talked about because they went over it in detail in previous dev diaries. Yeah, I haven't been through all of the like balance and AI stuff yet, but did any of you see anything in particular that stood out as like, oh, that's going to be a really good change?
Well, we've all had a chance to play it now, haven't we? So
I actually haven't yet. I
haven't booted it up yet either.
I'm waiting to experience the ruler designer on stream tomorrow.
Well,
like going into it fresh.
one thing that's interesting is if you go in and give your character something like the ugly trait, where is it? Then it's even farther. The sliders are apparently even farther over.
Oh, that's cool. What I do like about the ruler designer is if you make your diplomacy 69, it will not be excellent. It will be nice.
Nice.
Of course. Of course they would go in and do that just for the joke. For something like most people are never going to see.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Here's just the hideous trait on stream with the sliders.
Man, yeah, they're definitely more ugly than they used to be.
It's very good. It's
so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these look like meme faces from like the early 2010s. Like back in the Rage comic era. That's like what a lot of these look like to me.
I love them.
Yeah.
I was like, I went to school with that one.
Matt/Black Ninja is in the chat, by the way, who programmed a lot of this. So
I will say that it's easier to hide the ugly on the male characters because sometimes the trait that gets absolutely ruined can be covered up by the beard. Oh god, he looks way better with a beard.
Which is also true.
He doesn't look terrible there, but that is absolutely hideous.
Top tip for anyone who can grow a beard, that also applies in real life.
If you're ugly, grow a beard.
Yeah.
So what does it do? What does it do if you give them like the top level like beautiful trait? I'm curious.
That's a good question.
It smooths everything out. So let's take off hideous. Now he doesn't look so bad.
No, that's not too bad.
No, let's go with beautiful.
Absolutely.
His whole face smooths out, you could say.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Just
and his lips get a bit fuller as well. Oof.
Let's see when we take off the beard.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah, pretty boy.
Yeah, that's a
take
handsome dude right there.
Beautiful off. Too much of a change.
Yeah.
His lips they're still the same size. They just he's taken off the lipstick.
Plop a hideous on. Yeah, there we are.
Oh, gosh.
It's Gorm the Glorious there. That's his name.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this.
Well, this is. This made me
I
get,
do like the fact that the very horrible diseases also make them like emaciated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they all
Oh, yeah.
stack.
Oh wow! You can just
Remember when he
can just
used to be
keep going.
beautiful?
Slap a beautiful trait on them.
At
you
least
just
make
put a
him a
mask on
drunkard,
him.
because if you
Yeah,
look
yeah.
like that, you will be drunk.
Yeah.
Here,
Well,
then
you
we at
become
least
red
put a
when you
mask
Yeah.
on
become a
him.
drunkard, right?
yeah. Just at that point, just put the mask on, even if you don't have disfigured. Just go ahead and put that mask on there. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
now he's short
so-
as well.
Yeah, spindly makes you like a little. Well, it makes you spindly. It's great.
Yeah.
Let's see, where was this figured in here?
It's a
We've lost track.
face reveal.
We've given him so many traits that we've lost track.
It's in there somewhere.
There it is. There
It
we
almost
go.
makes me want to do like a max traits run. Like
100
make
stat
a
man.
character that has as many traits as you can possibly give them to start with, and
Oof.
I mean,
uh,
you're on negative 141 points right now. You could literally just improve all the skills to get rid of that.
I've got a feeling that
True.
your character will just die instantly, though.
yeah, that's true. Their health at the beginning of the game is going to be extremely low. So
Go. Now he looks normal
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And now he's
There we go.
beautiful.
This has turned like CK3 into Stellaris, where you just make a character, you never play the actual game, right? It's just.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be doing a fair bit of that.
Question for you, who have
I've
played
spent
more
so
RPGs than me. Can you think of a game with a more in-depth character creator?
There are some that have like more sliders, but
You can
As
do
far
a
as, like,
lot
being
with
able to-
these.
yeah, customized personality and stats and stuff. This is one of the better ones I've seen for sure. So yeah.
Here's someone I made for a collaboration with someone else.
Oh,
Yeah.
Historical
Cool.
character, if
Did-
anyone take a guess who she is.
oh, she looks really
Queen
familiar. Like I've
Elizabeth, I would say.
seen a
No,
painting of her or
Huh?
something.
I have no idea.
Not
I'm
Queen
bad.
Elizabeth. Yep.
Queen Victoria.
Zaho Blaze. Yep. Queen Victoria.
Oh, yeah. I can see it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Honestly, most of my recollection of what Queen Victoria looked like is very much post having all the children and letting herself go a bit.
Yeah. No, this is supposed to be her at 18.
She
Yeah.
wasn't a svelte woman in her later years, let's put it that way.
I'm shocked.
No.
Like an 80-year-old woman? Not a-
What's cool also is you can play
Probably
children.
not. Oh yeah.
Baby Victoria.
Remember when I made that time lapse of how people age? I could have just done this. Should have just waited.
Yeah.
Well, me and my friend like made each other like self-insert characters, right? But it's great because you can turn that slider up to see how your character will age. And my goodness, I do not age well apparently.
Do you have your DNA? I'll stick it in here.
I do actually somewhere. 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, we
That's what
should
we're
all
just
make
gonna do.
ourselves.
I have
Before
n-
we,
I have
next
absolutely
episode.
no ability to make people realistically. That's not something I'm going to be able to do very well. I'll give you a picture
Yeah.
of me, and you can put it in there if you like. I don't know.
I'll
You can
just
do
get
it.
a friend who's
Yeah,
more,
that's-
more talented to do
Yeah, I'm not the art guy.
it. I certainly couldn't do myself.
Reminder: my wife does my
Yeah.
thumbnails.
Yeah, that's true. She does a brilliant job with them though.
Yeah.
And actually the Dynasty Shield creator here isn't like that one example we saw in a picture looks kind of weird. But I haven't really seen any weird since then.
Rose, I think.
right, let's see.
Like, how many times am I going to have to click on average to get a white dragon on a red background? Like, is that's probably going to take me a while.
Possibly.
Most likely, yeah.
I wouldn't say
Yeah,
it's
I'm
particularly accurate.
I'm just gonna rely on modding to get the coat of arms that I want.
Yeah.
until
Oh, well,
they
there you are as
introduce
a
an official
female,
video.
Lorris.
There we are.
Nice.
I do like that
There you
you
go.
can change the gender and it'll
Oh, there we are.
keep all of the other DNA the same.
Well, I recognize you now. I know I saw you at PDXCon.
Yeah.
Now I know exactly who you are.
There we are.
Yeah, that looks like Lorris. Yeah.
There we are.
So what does he look like as a what does he look like as
As
an
I
old
get
man?
I was like, I think I'm
What
more
does
and
he
more
look like as
decrepit.
hideous?
Oh, what would it look like if you were a bit more ugly?
Beautiful. It does a full facelift.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Oh, there we go.
Plastic
Yeah, that's a nice.
surgery.
That's a nice glow up there. Now, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Nice.
If I was a dwarf in real life, I would totally just dress like Gimli all day. Like I don't understand.
Oh,
why.
yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah. That'd be great. Yeah. What does he look like? What does he look like as an old man?
Just slowly give me more diseases.
Oh, yeah, it definitely needs to have drunkard on there.
Yeah, that's
You're
how I
right.
age.
You do not age well.
I do not age well.
That is no. That absolutely looks like if I like stumbled upon a cottage in Wales and a grumpy old man came to the door. That's who I would expect to see. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure this is just riveting for the audio podcast listeners.
Oh,
so.
God.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
Maybe we-
you have to see this
maybe we should-
on Twitch.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I could put
Yeah,
this in
you
for
can
the
go look
YouTube
at
one too.
Yeah, you can look at the Twitch archive version if you want to see all the fun with sliders. But I think we should move on
This is-
along to.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you can make a
Disease
kid with
baby.
Drunk baby. Drunk baby. Come on.
the child plague bringer. That's just the
Yeah.
Son of
Oof.
Satan event from CK2. Yeah. he
He's got
comes
peg
out
leg.
wearing a mask. He's just born wearing a creepy ass mask.
Does he have a peg leg if he's if a baby's born with one leg?
Oh, yeah. And club-footed also
Yes.
Ooh.
works. Club-footed as well. Can you stack those two?
Yes. It does feel the same foot.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
oh my. Hmm.
Okay, that's a little that's a
That's
little
a thing.
disturbing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a club peg.
Okay.
He's got a bit of skin on his leg that's like, look at my foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but
Club-footed is
Yeah.
absolutely modeled
Yes,
as well.
Black Ninja, we have a bug to report.
Yeah, there you go. I can't make my bloody dwarf plague-ridden child have both a clubfoot and a peg leg. It's not possible. Bug report.
yeah. Well, something slightly less disturbing is the dev diary for EU4 this week, where we got a look at some additional new missions for the North American natives. They get a new generic tree that is separate from the one that most other people get, which I think is the first time they've done that for a culture group. Like they don't get the standard middle set of missions, I guess, that most of the other like old world nations get. It is kind of like you're still like, okay, unite home region, native colonization. It's still very much like ushering you down the path of becoming a, European style empire to some degree, which I think we talked with, who was the last Eve? It was Gru. It was the last time Grugi was on, I think,
Yeah.
talking about how hard it would be to model different goals and priorities in EU4. So yeah, you are still going to be kind of building yourself up to a Western style empire. but at least they're doing it in a slightly different way. The Plains tribes get some extra missions about capturing horses and fostering diplomacy with your native neighbors. The West Coast is getting some new stuff too, which I think they originally said they weren't going to do. So this might be something that was added later. Like they talk about a California culture group, and I don't think there were any playable tags in California previously, as far as I know.
I can't recall
Yeah.
one.
So I don't know if
The figure is. Yeah.
I don't know if they're adding new stuff over there, if they've just moved somebody down.
They're adding the Valley Girl culture type.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently.
I mean, there are tribes in that area that you could have the Chumash and the
Valorgain in
Oh.
chat is suggesting Olone Nation.
Olone. Yeah, they were.
Olone.
Where exactly did they live? Northern California coast. So that's like north of the Bay Area. Yeah. So yeah, there are definitely tribes we know about that lived in that area. So
It's bound to be loads, right? Isn't it a very... I don't know much about American geography. As far as I know, California is a very beautiful place just filled with skateboarders and surfers. That's what I know about.
yeah, no,
And tech
And tech
people.
startups. Yeah.
Yeah, tech startups.
the most modern archaeology actually points to the idea that it was fairly, not by like modern standards, but by the standards of the time, it was probably fairly densely populated. They just didn't do a lot of agriculture.
Oh, that's because they're like they're all tech
Right.
bros. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. They all had apps and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so
I
Um,
can't eat
yeah.
data.
but in any case, more of it, more missions and more events for this part of the world is definitely cool. I'd be curious to see what the full Western US map looks like now, because like I can see in one of these screenshots, there's this green tag in I guess what I would think of as Lake Tahoe area. But I don't know if that's new or not. The ones that they are showing in the Pacific Northwest, I think, have already existed. I think that's just the Chinook and the Salish. But yeah, glad the West Coast is getting some new stuff, even if it's not a bunch of new provinces and new tags.
Something for maybe the if a player's in Japan or China or Southeast Asia somewhere, maybe something for them to do. Maybe if they want to go colonizing, having to go through a bunch of the tribes, a bunch of like empty land before you reach anyone else to contest you is a bit awful.
And they may
as
have
for-
changed that
as for-
because they know how popular doing like colonial Ming is and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. As for West Coast tribes, there are a few. Like up in like we have the Chinook up north, and then further down south we've got the Yokuts tribe. I don't really know where the modern borders are though. So yeah, in the current version of the game.
In the current version.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that they had the Yokuts down there.
I will send a screenshot.
Yeah, I'm trying to boot up EU4, but it takes like 5 hours.
Yeah, no, I did. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, we're going to be talking about this. I'll open it.
Okay.
I've had issues with
So that is-
loading for me without correct.
So the Yokuts are they're the green tribe I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the province of Choi Numni.
It's Lake Tahoe.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm going to call it.
It's right next to the Olone. Olene, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, Valorgain's clarifying the Ohlone they lived in what's now San Jose.
Okay.
So
See,
when Wikipedia told me Northern California coast, what they really mean is Central California coast, because Northern California really starts north of the Bay Area. But that's a nitpick. Yeah.
isn't
So-
Chinook on that image, which is, I think, got a name change? Yeah, it has. Because on the screenshot that you've got up right now, it's called something ending with uk. That's now called Chinook. Oh, it's probably that on the screenshot is Sinuk.
That might be the province name, not the tag name.
The province name in E4 right now is Chinook.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they might have changed it to something
they've
more
changed
accurate.
And I'm showing what Lambert sent me of what the game looks like currently.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they've added any new tribes in the West. Because, Chinook, Salish, and Haida have been there forever. I don't know when they added the Yokuts. I actually totally missed that they were there. But, yeah.
It kind of camouflaged the mountains.
Haida's a fun start. Always has been, and will be more so now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the new world definitely needs filling a bit more. So it'd be nice to see, more of it filled. Funnily enough.
Yep. I'd like to see them push the Great Basin Wasteland West a little bit so that they could get in Mesa Verde and the Utes and some of those other things. But
it's got to be like the biggest area terra incognita outside of like the Amazon.
Yeah,
it's bloody huge.
It is sparsely populated, but
maybe the Congo Basin as well. Actually.
Oh yeah, Congo Basin's pretty big.
And the Kalahari. I take it back. It might not be. It's fairly reasonable. Australia. Yeah, no, I take it all back. It's definitely not even close to being the biggest. It's pretty big, but it's not close. Just take it all back. Don't even worry about it. Said nothing.
No worries. You know what else recently got taken back though were a bunch of the migration changes we talked about last time for Stellaris, which are now being replaced by a chance to migrate modifier that you can stack, along with several other things. In this dev diary, which also notably calls out late game performance, the thing I bring up every time we talk about Stellaris, talking about how in the late game, they're looking at reducing the total number of the pops in the galaxy by half.
Yeah.
So I think this should be called the Thanos patch.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Is that the guy with the really good idea that was thwarted by the egotistical capitalist?
By a bunch of jerks. Yeah. So reducing growth of pops.
I'm sorry.
And
in chat, you might say that performance will be more snappy. Oh God, Casey got to take a bow. That was fucking beautiful.
That's good. I'll give you that one. I'm
sorry for interrupting you, but if anything deserved it.
Oh, the dev diary was called Perfectly Balanced. I did totally miss that.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
So.
Oh God. Yeah.
Well, here are two things that I noticed. They've said that growth is going to follow an S-shaped curve where it'll kind of go up as you approach the carrying capacity of the planet and then like even out and maybe even start to go down, which I think is cool. But later on, they also said, where did they say it? They said something about it being on the Empire level. The biggest change is producing a new pop no longer costs a static amount of pop growth. It increases as the Empire population does, which that to me doesn't make sense, and I don't know if I like that. I like the idea of every planet having a separate carrying capacity where the amount of pop growth needed to build a new pop is based on how much carrying capacity is left on that planet. But the idea that as your Empire population rises, randomly this open frontier world would require more food to grow a new pop, I don't know if I like that part. Actually, I know how I feel about it. I don't like it.
Well, it's as Katie Cat in chat says, it sounds a lot like a mod that's on the workshop called a carrying capacity. It was actually made by a friend of mine, Starkitect. And he's done quite a few mods.
I know Starkitect.
And I've put a link to it in Discord if you want to pull it up. It looks fairly similar to this, and he's quite happy with it. Partially because he doesn't have to keep updating his mod, and he likes being made obsolete. And obviously he likes it because it's what he wants for the game anyway. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made a mod for it.
And I think his words were that it was a I just lost the word. But it was showing appreciation for his mod by the fact that it's going to be in the game.
Yeah, no, that's got to feel good.
Yeah,
it's got to feel good. But yeah, it's awesome. Like I've played with the carrying capacity mod. The last time I did a big multiplayer, and it did change the game quite significantly for the better. Unless you were a hive mind, it needed a bit of balancing and testing, but that's fine.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
The different
planetary.
Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, planetary carrying capacity, 100%. I love that. If it's per planet,
yeah.
Like, yeah, and as KZ guys pointing out, larger populations reproduce faster. So yeah, there should be kind of this exponential ramp up as you approach carrying capacity, and then it starts to taper off. You know, we're seeing that on Earth kind of right now in a lot of developed countries. But having the size of your empire affect how fast pops grow on any given planet, that is the part that I really do not like.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you there. I hope it's just a mistype.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a look through the dev response to see if anyone else has pulled him up on it.
Yeah, because I mean, it would make more sense on frontier planets where there's huge open spaces. People would have 5-6 kids to help out because they've got less technology there. When on core planets, couples are having 1-2 kids. So it's just replacing the population. Maybe 3, which balances out with people only having 1.
What they should do is have a growth bonus if you build the farming districts.
That would make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, like, logically, but, like, I have no idea how it would affect gameplay. Just sounds reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or, you know, there, like, if you had some sort of way to calculate how much land on a planet is arable land, that might be getting too complicated. Because, like, the more, I guess that's sort of modeled by if you end up tearing down farming districts to build industrial districts or whatever. But,
stepping away from the pop growth, I do think it's interesting that the buildings, as you upgrade them, are only going to be giving 2 more jobs for each building level.
Yeah. I like how it's linear too. It's very nice.
And yeah, I mean, they need to rebalance like everything. If they're saying there's going to be about half the amount of population in the galaxy, like buildings the buildings are balanced around what it currently is. So it definitely needs reworking in that regard. But yeah, 6
and it'll
seems a lot.
It'll make it harder to do like really weird like spammy strategies where you just like spammed research complexes all on one planet or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I generally
really weird results. I do like that they're making migration more of a passive thing. Like, as much as I liked the whole transit hub concept, which they're still in there, they just increase automatic resettlement chance now. It did seem like it was going to be a little bit micro heavy to add like another thing on top of like trade networks and everything else you have to do at spaceports, like to make sure that your transit network was adequate. That did seem like it was adding more micro without really any interesting gameplay decisions, which I don't know. I like this better.
Alfrey is pointing out in chat that hive minds and genetic ascension does allow assembling biological parts.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. So so spawning vats and cloning tubes now have that sort of robotic ability, which was to manufacture pops. It's really cool. I really like it, especially if you're playing a hive mind and you got spawning vats. It just makes it feel good that you're making urukai or whatever you basically do.
Yeah. Yeah. Just pulling them out of the mud. Yeah, I like that too. I don't know what's gonna. It says it takes up the same slot as robot assembly. So if you have both on the same planet, it says it doesn't recommend you do that. But I'm curious if it's just going to alternate between clones and robots. Like, but
The
I would
spawning
like to see
pools do
both.
feel very Zerg-like, as Kazi's
it
pointed
is,
out.
yes, yeah.
Well, it's all.
I'm thinking Tyranids
all
more
that's
like, but
I was thinking Tyranids too.
yeah.
I mean, Zerg and Tyranids are basically the same thing. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, the Zerg are copyright infringement. But yeah, no, totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same with a lot of things.
I mean,
Blizzard
you
makes.
can't really defend Games Workshop by calling other things copyright infringement when it's Games Workshop. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Adeptus of staff. Fuck off.
Well, a lot of people still don't seem to know this actually, but Warcraft was originally going to be a Warhammer game, but they couldn't get the license.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of it just seems like Warhammer with the names filed off.
Yeah, because it's
So,
100%.
yeah. Yep. And then StarCraft was just like, hey, we'll just borrow some stuff from 40K too. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
And they've also
Yeah, they're
done
both huge.
Alien.
they've also done a whole bunch of
Alien.
changes to some of the starts.
Right. Yeah. So Ring Worlds get 10 segments now, did they say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which seems really, really, really powerful.
For sure.
But they are just coming out and saying, yeah, don't pick this if you're a lithoid. We're not going to balance it. It's not balanced. It's bad. don't do lithoid Ring World start. Yeah. So
There's
fair enough.
There's also a line of text that is increasing the efficiency, I guess, of your jobs. It'll increase the amount of resources you get from jobs and increase the upkeep required for them by the same amount. So the first one is called Improved Production. You get resources from jobs plus 10% and upkeep from jobs plus 10%. And it just keeps, I guess it might be a repeatable text that'll just keep going and going and going and going. I can see that being a massive drain on my special resources. That's where I always struggle is with special resources.
You need
Oh, yeah.
like one of the only times I never struggle with special resources if I'm doing a megacorp and you're just making so much money you can just keep buying them off the market and not worry about making any.
Yeah.
Oh, that's always what I end up doing. I'll transition into this like late game economy where I'm just like selling off massive amounts of minerals for like a tiny amount of volatile motes or something. Like become an entirely special resource dependent importer who exports raw materials to people who still need them. But we're getting some changes to some governments. Functional architecture gives you more building slots now. Democracies have more automatic resettlement, which makes sense thematically. And then at the very bottom of this dev diary, we have something interesting going on. I don't know what's up here. We got it's a little bit spooky. What is this error message?
Straight up think it's going to be espionage next week, or I guess tomorrow. Espionage. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Blorgnet has
It could
detected
be.
unauthorized access from the terminal. Connection has been terminated. Station security has been alerted and will be with you momentarily. Please remain at your terminal for questioning.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. A little bit worried about this. Don't know what's going
Oh,
on.
apparently it's
Click
a link
on-
as well. You can click it.
Oh, can you actually click
Yeah.
it?
Security breach detected.
Uindar cartel. No. It's totally espionage. Oh my god.
Is it?
You can't tell what another empire is doing with their stuff because you need espionage. Yes. Yes.
Ah, okay. I would have totally missed that.
I'm legit fucking excited now.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope every single espionage dev diary now is like got puzzles that you have to work out, like about hidden links that you have to. Remember
there's just gonna be ARGs to unlock every future Stellaris DLC.
it,
yeah.
Remember when Valve used to do
Oh.
that? Used to release like
Oh yeah.
that was so fun. Enjoyed that.
Remember when Valve used to make games back before they just switched to making money?
I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
Pepperidge Farm also does not remember. That was so long ago, man.
Well, I guess they put out Half-Life Alyx this year, but I don't have the money for a VR headset.
Exactly.
So.
How many did it actually sell? I imagine. How many people have got a VR headset? Like, I mean,
I just don't think there's going to be wide adoption of VR anytime in the near future.
Also,
but maybe
the technology is advancing so fast. If you bought one now, 6 months time, yours will be trash. It'll be so far ahead of what you're at now, and you're gonna have to spend another $5,000 to upgrade your PC to go with a new. Fuck that. No, I'm all right, thanks.
yeah, I'm never
Solid
gonna buy one.
pass. Unless
Like,
someone
even
wants
if it
to
was cheaper.
buy me one. Fuck it.
No, I wouldn't even I wouldn't
Yeah.
have one. My opinion of VR has been entirely tainted by one time I went over at my friend's house and her roommate had a VR headset and I went into his bedroom. And have you ever been on our male living spaces?
No, that doesn't sound like something I would go for.
Well, his room was basically something like that. It was just a blank, horrible room with like rubbish all around it, and then this VR rig in the corner. I was like, right, that's it. I'm out of VR. That's it. I'm never touching VR.
My only experience with VR is when they had it at PDXCon in 2018, and they had that pig shooting game.
Oh yeah.
On that,
Just go shoot.
there's some VR games that I like the look of, like Boneworks and that. Is it called Parvel or something? It's basically CS:GO but with VR. They look all right, but I'm not thinking that any VR game is worth buying a VR kit for. That's just no. I see it the same way I see
So far,
consoles.
not
There's
unless
no
you have money to
individual
burn.
console game that is worth the price of a console to me.
I say that. I bought a Nintendo Switch just to play Animal Crossing. I've got no other game apart from Animal Crossing.
So there was one game that was worth the price.
There's one game, it was Animal Crossing. Yeah.
Casey guy's saying apparently about 5 to 10% of the PC market have a VR setup. So
That seems
Still
way
not that
too
big
high.
yet.
I don't know.
I mean, 5% sounds about right.
PC
Until we
market
get
is
maybe like
bloody
40 to
huge.
50%, it's probably going to be more of I'll say like a rich person's toy, someone who can put more money into their gaming than the average person.
He's clarifying 5 to 10% market size. So that doesn't mean 5 to 10% of PC gamers have a VR headset.
It costs more.
It's more expensive, so fewer people spending more money.
You also have to consider that somebody who has a VR headset is unlikely to talk to people. So there may be many people.
My God.
Yeah.
Do you know the best way to talk to people though is have a sit down? I know we haven't talked about it here, but there is a strategy game coming out that's published by Paradox next week.
Oh,
Empire of Sin.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot at present say anything about that, but it is coming out next week.
I played it at PDXCon.
Uh,
I believe that all of those embargoes are well over. I enjoyed what I played. I'll play it.
yeah.
So it's not my sort of game, to be honest. It's
It's
XCOM
like-
sort of thing.
XCOM meets the gangsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea that you could incorporate more of like a factional ecosystem into a game, like an XCOM style game, I like the idea behind that a lot in terms of like having a city with multiple factions that are all kind of doing their own thing.
And I mean, look at this picture. It looks like 1920 Chicago.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Well, from images. I wasn't there either. What are you trying to imply, Lambert?
No, I was there. I'm immortal, as we all know, and that's basically what it looks like. Yeah. So
Fair. I'll take your word for it. And like sounds.
yeah. So
Yeah. I'm also kind of burnt on
Yeah.
Werther, if anyone played that, which is a very bad game. Very similar, I guess.
I remember that. I didn't actually play it though.
I did miss out.
A game
What
that I'm
very
really
excited
looking
about.
forward to that is, I say XCOM-like, but it's not. Is Xenonauts 2. Xenonauts is like the spiritual successor to what XCOM used to be before it changed into this style, which is now what we call XCOM style. And that's coming out relatively soon. And it's a bit
Yeah.
more based on like what XCOM used to be, like the originals. Very punishing,
I'm interested in
unforgiving.
that.
Exactly the kind of masochistic experience I'm looking for in a game.
Yeah, for sure. Well, before we get out of here for the day, Rose, what have you been up to and where can people find you?
On Twitch and YouTube is Enigmatic Rose 4. I actually did another CK3 achievement video this past week as Kings to the 7th Generation. I think Lambert's working on that as well on live stream. Kind of surprised me getting the achievement. I got a little sooner than I expected. But I will actually be playing my first Total War game in about 2 weeks. A charity stream on the Sunday, the 6th of December.
Well, that new DLC looks gorgeous. Absolutely stunning.
Can't talk about it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which
I'm very excited.
Sorry.
Wood Elves are like one of my 2 or 3 favorite factions.
You know what?
So I'm really looking forward to that one.
What you're like and what you're into. I would never have guessed that the tribe of insular people that live in the woods and venerate the nature gods would be your thing. I would never have guessed that. It's straight over my head.
Yeah, it's totally against type.
Okay, here. What's my favorite faction?
I would say probably Empire.
Yeah, I'd say
would be my
Empire,
first
actually.
guess.
No.
No. Okay, let me think about this. Is it Bretonia?
God, no. The French? Kidding
I'd
me?
say maybe if it's not, maybe Skaven or something.
I hate the Skaven.
You hate the Skaven.
No, I would say Lambert and I are united in our hatred of the
Oh my
Skaven.
God,
so
When I was into Warhammer, the models, Skaven were not a popular faction. I don't know where their popularity has blown up from, but I didn't ride that wave.
I think
I
it's
love the
become just a
memes.
meme.
Big Skaven.
Yep, they're memes. They're a meme. That's what it
The
is.
vampire
So-
counts. I love the vampire counts.
Vampire.
And
Okay,
chaos.
All right.
And chaos.
Chaos I would have guessed. Vampire counts I don't know if I would have guessed that.
Your
for you.
second faction
Yeah.
would be Norska, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, well that's my first faction. Wood Elves are
There
second.
you go.
And then I also really like Beastmen, even though they're not
God, I
very good.
knew it. Those would be the top 3
Yeah.
I would pick for you. Love it.
Yeah, even though they're not very good in Total War Warhammer right now, I do.
Bit
like
of an
the
understatement. They're
Beastmen.
literally the worst.
Yeah.
They
There
are
is no
probably
one
the
lower.
overall worst faction in the game. Yes.
Definitely.
Funny that while I've never played any of the Total War, I've heard so many people talking about them that I recognize like 9 out of 10 of all these factions you're talking about.
Yeah.
Which Total War game are you playing, by the way?
I'll be playing 3 Kingdoms. Sega gave me a
Okay.
key for that for the
Oh.
stream, so that's
I do like
exciting.
Three Kingdoms.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's the
heard
one
it's-
Total War game I have
Three
not
Kingdoms
played
is really
yet.
good.
I've
got
heard it's the
absolutely-
best overall of all the new games. So
I mean,
I'd
Total
try.
War Warhammer
Right.
2 still exists, so I'm going to disagree with you, but I don't know. I haven't
I
played
said
it.
of the new games.
Total War Warhammer 2 is new enough to be counted as new games.
When did
right?
that come
No?
out?
There's not a Total War Warhammer 3, so recently.
It's kind of new, yeah, I guess.
It,
Katie Cat, no, even though the
Thanks,
dwarves
Bruce.
are sort of Norse inspired, they're not my favorite. So
I don't like the way they play.
I do like the Slayers. I like the Slayers.
Yeah,
So
I love the
yeah.
idea of Slayers anyway too.
Yeah.
The Empire isn't my favorite, by the way, because my friend had Empire, and his cannons, they can piss off. Those cannons can piss off. One shot my Vampire Lord turn 1. He can. Anyway.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Lambert, what have you been doing, and where can people find you?
I've been doing quite a bit of streaming on Twitch and then turning those streams into videos. Yesterday we did some EU4 with some other friends of mine, Chewy Shoot, Zlevik, who's been on the channel before, Radio Res, Corbett, and there's one more, I think, that I'm forgetting. Oh, Alzabo HD. Don't want to miss anyone out. And it's kind of funny because halfway through we got a hot join request out of the blue, considering that the game was password protected and privated, from Spiffing Brit, who just... I was playing Britain, so I was a bit like, oh shit, I'm in his country. So of course he went and played the Ming for a bit. because they've got all the tea.
So wait, did he guess the password?
Look, in
or-
fairness, I put 1, 2, 3. I don't know what I was expecting.
So if you ever see Lambert streaming, just go ahead, put in 1, 2, 3, and you
Look,
can.
honestly, if you
can
see
stream Skype.
if you see any EU4 game in the list on the lobby, if you put 1, 2, 3 in, like 50% of the time, you're going to get into a game. Let's be fair.
That's
It's like hacker voice. We're in.
Hacker man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I've done that. Doing some CK3 as well. Going to be streaming that tomorrow. Like I said, like Rose said, I'm also doing Kings of the 7th Generation, but I'm also mixing that with Francocratia and the one where you go from Count to Empire, Rags to Riches.
Here's the question though, Lambert. Is
Yes.
1.2 breaking that save file?
I don't know. I've not. I'll find out tomorrow. Yay.
Yeah, that's
all right.
I've also got
I
a
kinda rushed to
Reconquista
finish.
campaign in progress as well. Hopefully I don't have to roll back. Might have to roll back. We'll find out tomorrow.
You'll probably have to roll back to make achievements.
Yeah.
A hot fix broke one of mine.
Okay.
Made me very salty.
Yeah, I was gonna say my save files have been from 1.1 have been mostly fine so far, but I also don't play Iron Man,
Like I said,
so-
it's going to be fairly simple to save it. Like I'll just back up the saves. I'll just copy them. And I know that even if I pass that save on to a friend, he can play it for a bit and then give it back to me. It's still achievement compatible. Paradox, please fix. Yeah. So saves, Iron Man saves are pretty robust in CK3.
Mm.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Loris, what's going on with your stairs? Are your stairs back?
No, I haven't started building them yet. It's just a void. I did get most of the rubble out. I've actually destroyed more of the stairs. I've actually made negative progress on stairs, actually.
Wow.
So more of the stairs are destroyed than last week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you leap to the second floor? How does that work?
Well,
Do
it's
you have a
It's a
ladder?
stone wall, so I just climb up, basically.
You just do the Assassin's Creed,
Yeah,
like
Basically, like one leg on the other side.
He parkours up
I
it.
did used to just like do pull-ups up to it.
No,
then,
he gets a leg
just
up from his
snap it
sheep. Yeah, his girlfriend helps him up.
oh, they make a tower. They make like a living tower of
That's it.
livestock. And
A sheep standing on a sheep, and then Loris climbing up them. Then if you fall, very soft to cushion you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's how you get down. You just jump on the sheep.
There's 0 deaths from falling downstairs in Wales because it was all sheep. It's
Yeah.
all sheep.
That's funnily enough how carpet is. The floor actually goes down another 3 feet, but it's just sheep.
just a sheep bilayer.
So how many
have you
sheep
done
does
anything,
it take to create
creative?
stairs
Oh.
up to your second floor? Like, could you pile them on top of each other?
But a sheep, yeah, that's what my plan is. Fingers crossed.
Have you done anything creative that you would want to plug this week?
Oh, well, it's mostly just catching up on commissions from when I was in a lockdown rut.
Yeah.
Because still, when you're self-employed, work doesn't stop. It just piles up on a back burner that you have to do down the line.
See,
Yeah.
all of his commission notes are actually upstairs, and it's really hard to get to it, so he just can't be fucked at the moment.
Yeah, I just stay downstairs all day. The dream. Just sleeping by the fire all day.
Oh, does Rosebud have anything to plug this week? He's got to have a job by now, right?
Yeah, he's plugging the fact
Freeloader.
that he can grab onto furniture, stand up, and walk a little bit from side to side.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
And he's not
So-
even 7 months yet. This kid is going to give
Wow.
me gray hair.
Yeah, he's gonna be trouble. I'm sure. Yeah, I am Lord Sworn Order on Twitch and YouTube. We're probably not doing any streaming this week because I have a lot of things on my plate, including a review of World of Warcraft Shadowlands, which I told myself I would never review an MMO expansion again after the last one because it's very time consuming to do on a deadline. But I did it anyway because I'm dumb. So you can see my review in progress for that up over on IGN, and I'll be updating that with more impressions as I get closer to. I did hit the level cap finally, so I'm just gonna have to get through the rest of the story and the end game stuff. But we do have our Assassin's Creed Valhalla series ongoing. More episodes of that'll be going up throughout the week, and
I will be critiquing
having
it.
some fun in Viking times. Yes, Lambert is there to critique, to put it mildly,
Very mildly.
the frustrations, the various frustrations and inaccuracies baked into the Assassin's Creed formula. Yeah,
I use more swear words than that, though.
Yes.
Should we do a special episode where you guys just review Assassin's Creed Valhalla?
It's almost already there. If we just assembled the various clips from the stream, yeah, we could definitely do an Assassin's Creed chat at some point. Yeah, if you're in the US, happy Thanksgiving and stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
If you're not in the US, happy Thursday.
Yeah. And still stay safe.
Yeah, that
At
too.
the end of November. It's December next time we meet, guys, which we started a year ago in December.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think the 1 year anniversary will be, let me make sure I know for sure.
When in December was it? I think it was like
We talk about
late
Empire of
teens.
Sin next week. I know I'll be able to talk about it then.
Yeah, we should. I'm not reviewing it, but we should all be able to talk about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. When was the actual day that it went up? It just says 11 months ago. It won't tell me an actual date on SoundCloud that we posted it. We'll
Well,
figure it
we
out.
went
We'll do something
live-
special for the 1 year.
We went live last year for like 1 week, and then we went on vacation for 2 weeks because of the holidays.
Yeah. It was the
We'll
perfect
probably do
time to
something
start.
similar this year, but yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ra.